Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. I've been digging more into my research into the RadFem philosophy, radical feminist philosophy. There's different branches of feminism, but the RadFems I'm the most blocked by, and I've read their works, and I think they're the more pernicious branch of feminism, even though feminism overall is quite nefarious. So, one thing I wrote in my notes was RadFems want to dismantle patriarchal institutions such as marriage structures. We do see lots of problems in the dating market. Us as Muslims don't date, but again, it's hard to imagine because of how broken families are and how few reverts in America have walis, and how that whole classical system of ask your dad, get your dad and uncles and everyone else involved, it's almost impossible because those people don't have that mindset, and some of them are really underqualified to pick a mate, and so it becomes really awkward for a lot of American reverts on how you go about this, and having a sheikh who you don't really know, who is in the masjid or the mosque, pick you a life partner when that person doesn't really know you is also hard. So we do see a lot of women struggling with not dating, not really getting to know someone, or at least having a couple conversations before you sign the dotted line. So I understand the difficulties of the dating market for regular people, let alone Muslims who have to try to find a spouse and stay in halal. So when they talk about wanting to dismantle that patriarchal institution of marriage, we can see that they don't already have their replacement, so they're destroying something when they don't have the replacement for it, and they want to redefine marriage when we can kind of see how many women have their things, like they have their list of what they don't like, and that's, oh, can you wash some dishes, can you take out the trash more, can you vacuum, chores. But then when a man says, hey, I want to have intimacy, or something along that, can I have a nice meal, we see women wanting to change the duties she's expected to do while increasing the ones the man's expected to do. And there's different marriage responsibilities according to which culture you're part of, but for the most part there's a lot of overlap between it, where the women are expected to have intimacy, children, like take care of your children, domestic roles. Now it depends if you're in the city, you have a farm, there's so many variables. But charm, softness, humor, culinary skills, some of these are basic things. Keeping yourself clean, these are some basic things that come handy in the relationship. And I notice when they want to dismantle what a woman does, they want to keep what men do in terms of fixing things and protecting the home and giving her money. It's quite fascinating, isn't it? Now, even if a woman has a job, does she always want to pay for everything that she uses and doesn't want to be treated with some type of chivalrous romance? This is something to think about, because you see a lot of women complain about, oh, this man isn't meeting my emotional needs. Well, you want him to study your emotional schedule, but you don't want to see his needs schedule. It almost comes across as deep selfishness. A lot about being a mom is putting everyone first sometimes, and you only do that for a temporary time, really. Well, like, for example, I have a new baby, so the baby comes first before me, personally. So since I'm breastfeeding, I'll go out, okay, gotta be back by within 2 hours in case the baby wants to nurse. I can't go out and do everything I want to do, but that's not forever, so just make this sacrifice and do what you gotta do. potty training, other kid, there's things you do. And then before you know it, you have an empty nest and you have so much free time. So there's these chapters of our lives as women where we have to put others before us. And so that marriage structure also changes with each year you're married to that person, you take on a new dynamic. So I really wonder what they want to dismantle. They're not all the way clear, but how they want to rearrange things. And it's fascinating how they don't really look at, let's tell gays and what to do, let's tell lesbians what to do, and all that. Or the trans. No, it's always they want to dismantle heterosexual relationships. I always find that really interesting. It's quite telling, isn't it? So, for me, I like the patriarchal system of marriage, and it's great when your husband helps. I've noticed on Instagram, there'll be tons of views on men who just make videos of them cleaning, and it's quite alarming how many women are, like, just simping in the replies. But, vacuuming, washing windows, cleaning the bathroom, taking turns, rotating things. This is a great thing. And, it depends on what kind of relationship you have, the age of your children, how much of a support network you have. Because if it's just the two of you, if one's working, one's not, and how much can that stay-at-home mom handle? How much can that working mom handle? And the working male, the father, the husband. There's a whole spectrum, which is quite interesting, but it is fascinating to see that the RadFems have wanted to dismantle patriarchal institution of marriage, like the traditions, but you'll see Canada, and I think it was Scotland, where women will have intimacy with their landlords and for in exchange for rent. And they don't want to cook or clean for the landlords, they just want to have intimate relations, and then they get discount in their rent. Which is odd, because I've seen RadFems call housewives prostitutes because they're having intimacy for, their housing. But then they call these women smart because they're breaking out of the marriage oppression. So it's oppressive to have intimacy with your husband who cares about you, but it's not oppressive to have intimacy with your landlord who is most likely going to be ugly and who is really getting he's an idiot, number one. The fact that, so if rent is $2,000, you're gonna discount that because you get 10 minutes of action from your tenant lady, and how long is that gonna last before she gets overweight or ugly, and where she gives you an STD? It's so risky, but it's strange that there are women who think it's empowering to kind of use their oyster to get favors outside of the marital bonds, but it's oppressive to give your body wholly to your husband in an intimate way when he likes it a lot. Like, if you are really into intimacy with your husband, they'll call you Pikamisha. But if you have relations with your landlord for free rent, you're independent and you're business savvy and you're ruthless and you are getting what you want in the world. It doesn't make sense. So it's important for us as Muslims to study the marriage structure, look at it, and then try to help people navigate it and have solutions for people who get a problem that arise, because feminists are wanting to destroy it without having something ready to replace it. And that's a big problem. Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share.